Welcome, YouTubers. Welcome to part 2 of my video, Why I Stopped Watching The Handmaid's Tale. In my first video, I made the claim that the show was turning from a solid dystopian tale into a soap opera, with contrived plot lines, unlikely scenarios, deus ex machina being deployed, and character arcs being unrealistic and ill-fitting. I focus on 3 characters: June, Serena, and of Glenn. And I started with of Glenn because it's the shortest and simplest story arc. And also because her arc wasn't so much about plot holes or show mistakes, so to speak, rather than just a missed opportunity to make a more ironic statement. That's in part 1 of my video. Today, we're doing June slash Fred. Not Fred, Fred. And I don't care how many times they call her that in the show, okay? It's of Glenn, of Stephen, of Warren, of Fred. I mean, they've already shown how it works. I'm sorry, I digress. So we're talking about June today. Let's talk about June. It's going to be a long one, so strap in. Before we get into it scene by scene, let me give you a summary of the problem. June is meant to be an average person who has found herself in terrible circumstances. But she has the determination to survive and the hope that she'll reunite with her daughter. And in the book, there were 2 Junes. One was the meek and obedient handmaid. She's afraid, she's cautious, she keeps her head down and her mouth shut. The other June was inside her head, her inner monologue. Now, usually, monologues or narration are considered lazy storytelling. You know, they say you should show, not tell. And a monologue or a narrator usually means they're telling you rather than showing you. But in this story, the inner monologue is a part of the story. Because in a world in which you're a slave and you have no control over your body, your mind is the only thing left to you. So June's inner thoughts serve several purposes. One, it keeps her from losing herself. She keeps reminding herself of who she is and who she used to be and what she wants. And two, it makes for a more fascinating watch to see June behave and appear in a certain way while her thoughts are the polar opposite of that. It makes for a good dichotomy. But in the show, June is all over the place. She goes from meek to empowered to affectionate and tender to angry and vengeful. Some shifts in attitude are just unexplained, and others are, well, badly explained. I mean, the instigating event that justifies change is never convincing enough, nor is it ever in proportion to everything else that's happened to her at some point. All this will be clearer as we quickly run through her storyline up to season 2, including season 2. But the overall story of June is that she is foolishly brave, not very smart or strategic. She's protected by plot armor, and they are turning her into an all out hero, a dumb one. By the end of the season, she's so transparent that we don't even need her inner monologue anymore. The only uses for it are for the occasional profanity. And not that I have anything against profanity per se. Okay, now let's run through June's story, shall we? Episode 1. June is introduced to the Waterford household, and Serena immediately lays it all out for her.
This is your second posting, then?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Our last one was brand new. It was like training a dog, only not a very smart one.
And she takes it like a champ.
I expect you know the rules.
The commander walks in and says hello.
May God make me truly worthy.
And on his way out, he throws a casual,
Nice to meet you.
which emboldens June.
You too.
Serena reminds her of her place again.
Get up.
2 months in at the Waterford house, and June is scarce with words, but not with thoughts.
Little woman.
Going shopping?
No, Nick, I'm gonna knock back a few at the Oyster House bar. You wanna come along?
Yes.
We get a flashback to Handmaid's School, where June had contrary thoughts, but they stayed thoughts.
Fuck you.
Blessed are the meek, dear.
Blessed are the meek. They always left out the part about inheriting the earth.
I want to go off on just a very short tangent here about the handmaid's wardrobe and the wings that they wear. These wings are supposed to restrict them, keep them looking straight ahead, give them blinders. But I think that the show missed another opportunity here in that the handmaids could have used that to their advantage. It gives them privacy in terms of the expressions on their face, and also they could have conversations while walking together in a group or just in the shopping buddies, and no one would know that they are even talking. So I'm sorry, I know I digress again. I'm going to be digressing again before this video is over, I'm sure. In any case, this is episode 1, and handmaids don't even trust each other yet. So let's get back to it. June is all alone. She has nobody she can trust and nobody to talk to, except herself.
Her name is Hannah. My husband was Luke. My name is June.
And that's episode 1. In episode 2, we get a well-rounded view of handmaid duties, and they all suck. I'm going to arrange these duties in an order from the least to the most unpleasant. Okay? Here we go. Shopping gets you out in the open air and you're in the company of other handmaids, but the route does include walking by the wall of hanging bodies, so that's not good. A monthly ritual ceremony in which you are ceremonied in the hopes of getting you pregnant.
I wish he'd hurry the fuck up.
If you do get pregnant, you have to give your baby up to the family and get reassigned to a new household and do it all over again. Mandatory participation in violent executions. Even pregnant handmaids are not exempt from this. And finally, and worst of all, you have to accompany your mistress to every baby shower and birthing ceremony. Yeah, this job is not for the faint-hearted, but the alternative is death, so. She's infantilized and humiliated by the wives, but she keeps it together.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like a cookie, dear?
And she takes the cookie, but she walks over to the bathroom and spits it out in a sort of small, private victory kind of way. Or maybe not so private. Let's hope Martha comes in and cleans this up before anyone else sees it. June, they don't care if you eat the cookie. They just want the humiliation part. But okay. So those are handmaid duties. That's the entire job description. But you know how every job description has this little line that says performs other duties as required? Well, yeah, we get into that too. That's where it gets a little murky. You see, the entire time June was at the birthing ceremony, there was something on her mind. Earlier that day, the commander had summoned her to his office. She had no idea why, and she was scared she might be in trouble.
He probably just wants a blowjob.
Performs other duties as required. Except it's illegal in Gilead to do this kind of thing because really this is not about lust. It is about procreation, and handmaids are just meant to get impregnated in the ceremony, and there should be no other contact between them, really. So, this is a very precarious situation, but apparently it's a very common one as well, according to Glen's guess, which is to be expected. You give a man this level of power, and this is probably what he ends up doing with it, among other things. But luckily, it turns out all he wanted to do was play Scrabble and sort of get to know her better, which is illegal because women aren't allowed to read, but who cares? So it turned out well for June here. I should mention that up to this point, I have no gripes with the plot or the characters or June's behavior. It all makes sense. I'm not complaining yet, but I will soon. So bear with me. It's episode 3, and I'm going to start complaining now. June is being taken home and is asking Nick about what happened to of Glenn because she had disappeared and maybe was taken away by the eyes or something. And Nick doesn't answer her questions. He's a more weird and sort of quiet, but he does give her a lecture about protecting herself.
You need to remember a few things. You can't change anything about this. It's gonna end the same no matter what you do. So there's no point trying to be tough or brave. Brave isn't part of any of this. Everybody breaks. Everybody.
So, what is Nick talking about? Well, he knows that there are people at home waiting to interrogate June. Aunt Lydia plus a guardian, I guess. And they want to know two things. Did June know that of Glenn was gay? And did they participate in any hanky panky themselves? The answers should be simply no and no.
I don't want to be a doll hung on the wall. I want to keep on living. I'll do anything. Resign my body freely to the uses of others.
But you knew what she was.
I knew she was gay.
Remember your scripture. Blessed are the meek.
And blessed are those who suffer for the cause of righteousness. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. I remember.
So, are we saying the quiet part out loud now? I mean, what happened between, oh, please God, I'll do anything, to let's get under Aunt Lydia's skin? So her insolence earns her a walloping, but she is saved in time by Mrs. Waterford, who believes she's pregnant because her period has been a couple of days late, and everyone just assumed she was pregnant, although she's not. But it helped her out in this situation, so that's good. And then later in the day, June gets her period. So she wasn't pregnant, she was just a couple of days late. And she goes to tell Serena about it, and Serena loses her shit. She drags June up to the to her room and imprisons her, tells her she's not allowed to leave until she gets pregnant, I guess. So, yeah, Serena's not a very reasonable woman. Anyway, that's how episode 3 ends for June. She's in solitary confinement until she gets pregnant. I mean, obviously, she's going to be let out of her room for the ceremony, of course, but other than that, she's in solitary confinement. So, episode 4 opens with June's confinement. She's been in her room for 2 weeks straight and she's just going crazy. It's also ceremony day today, so she's got that to look forward to. She's sent to the doctors to make sure that everything's in working order for the ceremony that night. And while she was looking forward to walking out in the rain, Serena made sure that her trip there and back was as confined as possible. June comes back from the doctor's office, and the thought of going back to her room is just killing her. So now we get the meek and obedient June. She walks into Mrs. Waterford's room and she begs her to be let out of her room. It's actually kind of hilarious that she has to apologize for not getting pregnant sooner, but there she is.
Mrs. Waterford, I know I failed you. I disappointed you and myself.
So June puts in a sincere effort here at, forgiveness from Serena, but it just doesn't work. Serena tells her to go back to her room, and there she stays until ceremony time. After the ceremony, June has another date with the commander in his office to play Scrabble, but things take a weird turn here. They first talk about the handmaid that was there before her. She asked what happened. She found out she killed herself. And he said, well, it seemed like she found her life unbearable. So June says, oh, so this is why we're doing this now? Are you trying to make my life bearable? And he said, I would prefer that. And the change in tone with June was so weird.
I'm afraid I'm starting to give up. I certainly wouldn't want to give up.
Yeah, nice handmaid you have here. Would be a pity if she killed herself. Gee, I really hope she doesn't do that. Yeah, me neither. You'd better be nice to her. I mean, what is going on? And what's with the face? It's like she's blackmailing him? I don't get it. I mean, the look on her face says, I'm playing you, sucker. And there's no inner monologue, so I'm just guessing. But in the very next scene, you find out, obviously, she asked him to be let out of her room, and he made that happen. How does Serena feel about it? Obviously, not good. June, however, gives zero fucks. She stares her down, gives her a look that says, yeah, bitch, I got my way. I don't think that was very smart, June. I mean, this woman can't have you sent to the colonies, you know. Okay, fine. Enjoy today's victory. Just, play it cool, okay? End of episode 4. Episode 5, and it opens with their Scrabble game. It's obvious that they've been doing this a lot. They've built rapport, they know each other's tricks. She's drinking, they're flirting a bit, and then finally, the commander gets up and goes to his desk and he pulls out a magazine for her, a fashion magazine from the before times. This is contraband, of course, but she's thrilled to have it. And she's weirded out by how the women look with the makeup and the clothes.
Now the models all look insane, like zoo animals, unaware they're about to go extinct.
The commander is watching her as she's going through this, and he's so pleased with himself. That's the thing about people who are in power. They want to feel extreme gratitude for giving you a little crumb. You always have to cater to their ego and make them feel that they're heroes for doing little things.
That look on your face is thanks enough.
So things are going well with the commander, but let's check in with Serena.
How hard would I have to press those shears into her neck before seeing blood?
These are the kind of inner thoughts I like. So it turns out that Serena had called June out into the garden because she wanted to discuss her lack of pregnancy and that maybe they should try an alternative. You see, during June's last doctor visit, we did learn something very important.
Doesn't really matter. Waterford's probably sterile. Most of those guys are.
So in Gilead, the deal is that there are no sterile men, there are only barren women or fruitful women, but it's always the woman's fault and the woman's problem. Now, the doctor, of course, knows that that's not true, but this is hypocrisy. They have to pretend like, yes, it's always the woman's fault. So, what he offers her is a solution. It seems like he's done this before. He helps handmaids out by impregnating them himself. And how would she like that?
It'll only take a few minutes, honey.
It's too dangerous.
So she turns him down and he walks away. At least he asked for consent, creepy or not. So back to June and Serena. Serena says maybe the commander is infertile and we should try another man. And June says, that's not allowed. And Serena says, yeah, I know, but women do it all the time. I'm sure you've heard the stories.
I've heard rumors about doctors.
Serena's like, yeah, sure, doctors, a lot of women do that, but I would like us to find someone we can trust. And she says Nick would be the perfect guy because he's their driver for a long time and he's loyal. June is devastated to hear that. Serena tells her, yeah, I've already asked him and he's agreed. But naturally, June feels very humiliated by this because there was already chemistry between her and Nick. And the first time that they would do it together is under the command of Serena. June agrees to this, not because she has a choice, even though it looks like Serena's asking, she's not really asking. So she agrees to do it. Can I go on another short tangent here? Because I want to give kudos to the show this time. Do you remember when I said that the movie was pretty good, but there were bits here and there that I felt were not so great? Well, it was mostly centered around the Nick and June story. The way the movie handled it was a little different. Here's how it goes. The first very subtle interaction with them was that he was driving and then he checked her out in the mirror and she caught him checking her out, and it seemed like she was fine with that. But really, dude, I think you need to look ahead when you're driving. And then their second interaction was right after the ceremony. June was feeling really bad and dirty and she needed air, and she opened the window with her titties out, and he was passing along and he caught her and he said, "Girl, what are you doing? Get in there." The third time they meet, it was kind of by accident. She was roaming around the house late at night and he startled her. And then he asks her, "Hey, what are you doing here?" But then doesn't even wait for the answer. He just goes for it. And they both end up embracing in a passionate kiss. Really, this movie and these scenes kind of plays out like an 80s erotic thriller, you know? The tone is a bit off. And then you wonder how much is going on really between these two characters because they don't really know each other. I mean, Nick in the show showed June some concern, some care, some kindness. But in the movie, the guy, he just showed her lust. And it's just a little weird. Their fourth interaction is basically that night that Serena sends her to have sex with Nick, and she didn't go with her. She just sent her off. When June comes into his room, they're both all giggly and happy. It's like he, they think they're making us do this, but we wanted to do it anyway. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Boss's wife was real ladylike. She said, I want you to fuck her, Nick. I want you to give her the works.
Ew, oh god damn! What kind of movie are we watching here? So, to the show's credit, they don't play it that way. They show you the ugly truth, warts and all.
Do we pray first?
No, there's no time.
Yeah, Nick, there's no time for pomp and circumstance right now. Just get her done. So, needless to say, this was a very demeaning experience. They both ended up doing it on the bed while Serena was looking out to make sure nobody caught them, and it was quickly over and there were no words exchanged. And you really felt like these were a couple of animals and a farmer was trying to breed together. There was nothing in it that was beautiful. So, since the whole point of this is to get her pregnant, naturally this was scheduled for ceremony night, which means that after her uh, deal with Nick, she had to go to the commander, and she got a double whammy that day. Poor girl. The ceremony was a little different this time because the commander was looking at her this time very intensely. June was freaking out. Luckily, Serena wasn't seeing any of it because she always looks away during this ceremony. So June was very nervous, and especially that he started to touch her, and she kept thinking to herself, please stop, you're getting me in trouble. After the ceremony, June visits him, and she is really mad because her life was at stake here.
What if she saw you? She could have me sent to the colonies or worse, and you know that.
Hey, I said that. Didn't I say that? I just said that. I mean, I just want June to always remember that, okay? So the commander walks over to the desk and takes out the magazine for her and sort of dangles it in front of her, like, "Hey, look, don't you want to read again?" But it's not working this time. And I gotta say, this time I am totally understanding of June's attitude because the stakes were so high for her. And, they had already established rapport, and he had said that he wanted her life to be as easy as possible so that she doesn't kill herself. And so, what he did was very reckless. And I guess I understand why June lost her temper. But of course, this couldn't keep going on. So the conversation continues, but it gets a little bumpy. They discuss the state of the world and whether it's better or not, and whether it was good that women had choices or whether this world is better. And finally, she sort of aggravates him enough, so he tells her about of Glenn and what they did to her. Uh, Basically, he informs her that because of Glenn was gay, that they clitorectomized her. And, again, the science in Gilead is wonky. So, of course, June walks out of there very shaken and upset. She runs into Nick in the kitchen, and this was their first conversation since their awkward, mandatory, supervised sex. She asks him if he's an eye straight out, and finally he does admit to her that he is an eye. June seemed dismayed at this news, but I think it was a good thing for June to have an ally in Gilead who has more power than most people know. I think it's good. So anyway, it's been a hard day for June. She did a lot, and a lot happened to her. She goes to bed on that note, but then the next day is also quite interesting and a bit more inspiring. On her shopping trip, she ran into the handmaid formerly known as of Glen, aka Emily, and she watches her go through some antics, let's say.
There is no other day. Let's try it another way. You'll lose your mind and play. Free games for play. See Emily play.
This looks like a suicide by cop situation, doesn't it? I mean, as far as Emily's arc is likely to go. But we know June isn't suicidal. We know she has hope and she wants to survive. The whole thing to her was maybe empowering to watch, but as she steps into the house, hopefully she should not carry the same attitude with her. Let's see how it goes. She walks in and Serena says, "Hey, I heard there was trouble in the market today." And June goes, "Mm-hmm."
Are you all right?
And June takes a long, leisurely walk towards Serena, saying absolutely nothing. Say something.
I'm fine.
So you can tell Serena is kind of weirded out by her, wondering what the hell is wrong with her. She keeps going on about how, well, some girls don't do as well as others, and June is looking at the thing, and you can tell what she's thinking from that. But, it would have been nice to actually hear June's thoughts. I mean, I feel like maybe she could have been thinking something like, yeah, when I, steal your car, I'm going to run over your face first, or something like that. I mean, I'm not a psycho, guys. I'm just saying that's what she should be thinking, just like Emily. Anyway, if you have a better thought, please leave it in the comments. That would be fun. Anyway, we don't have any inner thoughts here. We only have a face, and I don't know what Serena makes of it.
You're a smart girl.
You know what, Serena? I don't think she is. I don't think she's a smart girl. I mean, you keep telling her that, but she has not shown us that. And it's show, don't tell, damn it. Anywho, June is back in her room and she decides, you know what, I'm going to take agency. I'm going to go have sex with Nick because I want to, not because anybody told me to. And she goes to his room and they have, I should say, they make love. It's much nicer this time. And it was a good note to end episode 5 on. So there it is. Oh boy, episode 5 had a lot of June stuff in it. YouTubers, I'm just going to cut this short here and upload it as it's mid-season now. It seems like a good point to cut it. Boy, do I have newfound respect for all the YouTube creators who just put out excellent stuff in no time at all. This is so much work. I mean, I'm still learning and I'm sort of getting a little quicker, a little better, but damn, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, but I figure now it's better for me to just upload what I have so that I can keep on working. Okay, see you in part 3.